do its own thing. So let's slap the shit out of this thing a little bit. There we go. Okay. Did a little bit of airbrushing earlier today, not that long ago. And let's continue. I'm not going to use that one. Only because I don't want to transfer some of that paint onto something else. So let's get a fresh one. I only have 40 of these things. Okay, so what we did is we've got a couple of check 38s, which now that I look at it, I didn't do a very good job of. I was kind of rushed. Need to go watch a show with the wife and watch the stand-up thing. It was pretty darn funny. And she was all tired and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not ready to go to bed. I got stuff to do here. So what we're going to do is, hell, I don't know. We'll see what condition I left this airbrush in, because that's kind of first and foremost. So let me move the soda over here to this end. Let's make sure we get a good, clean needle on this, because I don't think I'm going to do any primering. We're going to use all the fine paint that we can do, run it at low PSI. But I was kind of in a hurry when I took this apart, so let's make sure we do a good job of cleaning house here. Why you're making all kinds of weird noises. Let's turn you up to medium. There we go. Maybe you won't be so noisy when it's like whoa, 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 whoa. Like we're not washing clothes, man. And okay, we can see light through there. I don't have the super readers in. We just have the regular readers in, so we'll have to try to power through with that. And I'm going to do something I don't do that often. I'm actually going to clean this as well. I did do it recently, but if you use the hand sanitizer using acrylic paint, it literally will melt the paint. It'll like make it disappear. It's really kind of a miracle thing using hand sanitizer. Just melt old paint that's been there a long time. As long as it's acrylic paint. If it's not acrylic paint, well, then all bets are off. And we'll get a little bit of. And this airbrush comes with like an extra little cap that can go on the end of it. I don't really find any use for that thing at all, other than it protects the needle from you dropping it and damaging the needle. But it's just one other place that gook can just get stuck to. So I don't really find much value in it at all. Okay. That should make a difference. Where the hell I put the airbrush in? Here we go. And here is the needle. Yeah, you can't. I wouldn't do this in the summertime. In the summertime, I mean, this garage is insulated. It's not too bad, but in the summertime, it's a little too warm here to. It's certainly too warm to go take a shower and then come back and do this again. Do all my airbrushing in the summertime when I'm already filthy from work. All right. See if we can get this to work like a charm. Now, I still plan on doing the wash and stuff this morning after this stuff sets. So, I might as well do a couple other vehicles that I can go ahead and wash along with them. There we go. No, it's not a beer. That's a good way to not get anything done. What's up, KK? All right. Let's see if we can get this to. Let's see if we can get this to behave. All right, we're gonna do this Crusader tank. So let's clip this away. And make sure these aren't weakish. And that one's plugged in. Where is the one for the turret? Okay, the turret is also all set and ready to go. Okay, so we're going to start off with the British tank, and we're going to use light stone. Finally, we get some kid on here who doesn't want me to eat a cockroach. That's been in the mornings. In the mornings, I've been going on this mobile connection, and when it's vertical, it attracts all kinds of other people. And some people just think they can pay me $100 to eat a cockroach, and no, I'm not that kind of weirdo. There we go. So let's go and get. And what I'm going to do is when I do the camouflage on the German half tracks, I'm actually going to go ahead and clean it like I just did, because I'm getting a small spray pattern. Finally. Yeah, I'm getting a small spray pattern there. Right there. So let's go to town with this Crusader. Wherever she is. Here it is. All right, we're just going to do a light dusting over the whole thing. What are we running, about 20 psi? Pretty low. We don't need a lot of oomph behind it. Just a thin coat over it. Just get everything up to that same level, and then we can start the detail on it. I really didn't put a lot in there, did I? I always like to put just a little bit, just in case it starts misbehaving. I don't have to throw away a lot of paint. We're just doing just kind of a light coat on there, so everything has that. And then we will highlight the spots afterwards. Okay, and the turret. Well, the little turret. Little bitty turret. This will be the third Crusader that I have. I've got basically 2 of them finished. And a total of 6 of them to do. Just kind of a thin dusting over them. Leave the end of the barrel alone. The end of the barrel would be all charred and smoky and stuff from firing the main armament. And there's no reason to lighten that up any. And that's all the parts, right? That's all the parts of Crusader. All right, so now we're going to come in and we're going to lighten this up a little bit. And that one won't have any more colors because the Crusaders are just all overall this color, unfortunately. But that's just how it is. For this battle, they didn't have any crazy camouflage colors on them. They were just overall light stone. There might have been some older ones that were still around, but the new replacements just showed up in light stone. So we're going to selectively highlight areas so that the panels look differently. It's kind of like a freebie. I've got to paint the base color anyways, so I might as well make some areas be brighter or less worn out than others. Yeah, this is hurting my back. They're sure running a lot for being only 20 psi. And it's funny, the Dunkelgelb looks really yellow compared to it, because it's just kind of like a tan color. It's not, you know, like a crazy yellow color. Where is the suspension on this? Yeah, here's the wheels. And then here's the, you can see we got a little bit of pre-shades in there. A little bit of pre-shading there. That dries in no time, but we want it to be really on there well when we put the wash on it. We don't wash the color off. Do I have paint? No, we still got plenty. Okay, that's about as far as we're going to go with it. Make sure it kind of matches the turret, the hull. Okay, so that's done. So the Crusader is Aguilar B. All right, so let's get rid of the rest of this paint. Let's not forget to close this. I came out here one time and I forgot to put the tops on the bottles, and it just like, I was like, oh no! It ended up not being a big deal, but it like freaked me out. I thought like my paint was going to be bad or wasteful. I have to buy more of it, or it's stupid to be wasteful. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to this Czech 38 and maybe do a better job of putting that light gray on there, because, well, I was rushed when I was doing this a little while ago. I believe it's light base is the color. It's the next one up. Yep. So we're going to add some light base to that. Okay, that's a little bit better. Just some highlighting on here. This is only really messy when you're doing the primer coat. The primer coat's the one that doesn't get everywhere, but using just a much larger volume of paint. All right, now. Let's see if I can angle this without this thing falling over. It's going to be kind of tricky to do this. All right. Let's lean that back. Okay, that's pretty stable. All right. Now, so we don't go crazy, or so I don't go crazy, I'm going to see if I can put something here that'll protect this and also won't look like, you know, it's been attacked by a bunch of punks that have spray painted graffiti all over this stuff. All right, so we're going to move these out of the way. I got lots of cardboard. Let me just go get one. Let me go get a cutting knife and we'll cut something and put over that. This is a box that's on its way to the recycler anyways. All right, something like this. Because what I'm going to do is, no, I have a shitload of it down here. Silly ass me. What I'm going to do then is try to cover all this as best we can. All right, now we've got a surface here that I should be able to get relatively close with. Now I'm going to go get my readers, my super readers. I'll be right back in a moment. I'm just going to go inside and grab them, and that way we'll have something I can zoom in and look at a little bit better. Well, I got this stupid thing. I don't think this will work. This magnifier thing. Let's see what happens when I put this thing on. Well, the zoom in thing, that doesn't really work. Is that better? Let's see. Yeah, it's not bad. Let's try that. Let's try this. I've had this thing a long time. I think Mitch gave me this. He didn't have a use for it. What the hell's he going to do? Paint with it? And then this. Yeah, you got to... I got better magnification than that. Just... All right. Okay, well, maybe this is a use for this, you know, airbrushing. Yeah, this is actually pretty damn good magnification, pretty decent. I don't know whether this is 3 or something like that, but that's what we're going to use. Okay, cool. Cool, so we're going to camouflage. We're going to do camouflage on one of these. I want to do like a green kind of a spider web thing on this one, and you know, if I screw up, then I'm just going to paint over it. Actually, it's going to get dry brushed anyways over it. So let's take this off. And what we're going to use for the green is, I don't really like the green that comes in the paint set, the German paint set. It's a little too wimpy. It's not a very strong color. The olive green, it's not very strong. So I'm going to get actually one of the ones from the 1945 paint set and use something that's a little bit more vivid. And use that, because I'm going to end up dry brushing over it, which is going to tone it down. Is it like the last one coming out? Always is, isn't it? All right, what we want is this color right here. The dark greens. That's what we're going to use as the green. We're only going to do green and camouflage on this one. But we want to make sure that this thing is super clean. So let's get all of this, let's get all the pans of gray out. And once that's gone, I'm going to put the airbrush cleaner here that we make. I could never remember the name of the guy that makes the video that I decided to make mine based on his instructions. Red Dragon Studio, something like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this a step farther. I'm going to actually tear this thing apart. I'm going to make sure that there's no little goops in other places, because I want to dial this pressure way the hell down. Oh, this is like, having this thing on and doing things is like being intoxicated. I don't mean that in a good way. Man, I can't even grab this thing. What the hell have you done to me? There you go. Gee whiz. Maybe this head thing isn't too bad. Wow, maybe it's not bad at all. All right, let's move this out of the way. Let's make sure we get a good clean on this. Let's pull the needle back a little bit. Break this thing free. Stay right there and push the needle forward. All right, we're going to get all this gunk that's on the needle out. And let's get our friend Mr. Hand Sanitizer. This will break everything down. We'll put a squirt in there. Put a squirt in there. Anything these little paint molecules can catch on. I want to make sure this thing's completely clean. Let's put that in there. Now let's take a look in here. Yeah, there's some stuff in there. Let's get that out. So this hand sanitizer actually is going to melt this paint, so to speak, off. Doesn't matter how old it is, as long as it's acrylic, it'll work. And this stuff's not old. I mean, the oldest this paint could be is 2 years. I've only had this airbrush a couple of years. Okay, so that looks cool. That looks clean. That looks clean. Make sure there's no buildup in this thing at all. Yeah, that's clean. Now what about this little troublesome little nozzle? Oh, see light through it. That's always a good sign. If you don't see light through this, it's not going to work. I'm going to go ahead and just put a squirt of that in there. Now, when we assemble this, so that's good to go. This is good to go. Let's clean this needle well. And we're going to put the green camouflage on. And we're going to try to get a really teeny tiny pattern. You know what? F it. This is the day that we're going to do it. This is the day that we're going to do the experiment. Okay, because I was reading about it. And the experiment says basically thin your paint. As much as you can, and do the okay, and then do the pressure as low as you can and work your way up. So we're going to experiment with that. All right. So airbrush here, airbrush clean, right? But we still got some goop in there, right? We got some of that hand sanitizer in there. Let's assemble this in from the front. Nozzle. This, and even though you can tighten this by hand and it'll work, you want to tighten this down with a clamp because that little bit will make a difference. You'll get air that'll sneak its way in there and you're not going to get, it's not going to behave how it should. So we got that nice and tight. Move this all the way to the edge. Now what we're going to do is, I don't know if we're going to actually get anything to spray out of here. Yeah, we did like a loogie. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and fill this with airbrush cleaner. Make sure all that comes off, and we're going to push that through. Now, there is another little nozzle you can put at the end of this. And as far as I can tell, the only benefit this has is it sticks out farther than your needle, so you don't go boom and then mess up the end of your needle. I don't think it makes any difference at all. But we'll check it out in a second. Okay, and I'm going to give this a little wipe down, and then we should be good to go with the green. Now, I don't have ammo MIG thinner per se. I got thinner for AK. I don't necessarily have one for ammo MIG. So I'm not going to thin it. However, I am going to go, I'm going to drop the pressure on it. And we're literally going to operate with a tiny little drop of paint. All right, let's get the airbrush thinner out of the way. Have a sip. And the color we're going to use is this dark green. Put this up here so we don't go crazy looking for it. Almost wish this was a little taller. We're just going to drop 1, 2, 3 drops of this in here. Let's see how this behaves. Okay, well, I'm pressing down on it and no paint's coming out. That's good. Pull it back a little bit. Just have like the thinner coming in there. Still trying to work that way through the system. That's all right. That's all right. I'll leave the tip on it for now, and just see how that goes. What's the PSI at right now? I don't like not being able to see the needle. On the right track there. Come on. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. We have a little bit of splatter. I'm okay with that because we're going to be cleaning it up with the dry brush over it. Like I said, I am not an airbrush expert. Probably never will be. Probably better than any other time I've done it. Probably better than any other time I've done it. See if we get it a little bit better by going up in pressure a little bit. Sometimes, and then sometimes don't. So we're going to be dry brushing over it, so all that'll smooth out. So much that I actually have to make a conscious effort to make this actually look pretty thick, the camouflage pretty thick on there, because otherwise when I end up doing the dry brushing over it, it like disappears. Turned out terrible. All right, so let's turn that down a little bit. Maybe I'm going to have to get some of this, some thinner for this stuff. I have other thinner, but it's not specifically to this paint. Everybody seems to say that you shouldn't do that. So. It looks pretty good. It's going to look pretty good once we dry brush over it. And I'm pretty happy with that. Man, I'd be in great shape if I was half as good with this as I was with a paintbrush. I don't know. I think that looks pretty good, especially since it's going to get cleaned up with doing the edges and stuff like that. That's actually pretty decent looking. And I like the fact that we lightened some of it up before we actually added the camouflage. So that actually looks pretty decent to my eye. That looks pretty decent to my eye. And that's this dark green, because the olive green that comes in this is almost like it's almost too subtle. It's almost too subtle of a color. Nothing for Zeta green. It's almost too subtle of a color. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and I need to use my phone to look up some camouflage patterns, but we'll be out up in the morning doing this again, and hopefully we'll have some cool stuff for you guys to look at. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.